There's no one event that's completely focused on the pan-European audience and will draw from all over Europe, and that is focused on just those segments that are going to use drones that will be the largest users of drones going forward.
You're listening to the Drone Radio Show podcast, the show about drones and the people who use them for business, fun, and research. Hosted by Randy Goers.
Hello, everyone. This is Randy Goers, and welcome to this special edition of the Drone Radio Show podcast. Where do you find the greatest concentration of UAS professionals in Europe? If you ask today's guest, she'd say Brussels in June. Lisa Murray is the event director for Diversified Communications, an international media company with more than 12 years' experience in producing world-renowned events for precision measurement professionals. If you're in this field, then I'm sure you've already attended one of their events, like SPAR 3D Conference and Expo, the International Lidar Mapping Forum, or the Commercial UAV Expo. On June 20th, Diversified Communications brings its winning formula to Brussels, creating a signature forum for UAS professionals all across Europe. I'm talking about the Commercial UAV Expo Europe. Lisa is here to talk about the Expo, why it's being held in Europe, what attendees can expect, and most importantly, why UAS professionals should attend. Let's pick up the interview where I asked Lisa to introduce herself.
My name is Lisa Murray, and I'm the event director at Diversified Communications for our technology portfolio, which includes the Commercial UAV Expo Americas, Commercial UAV Expo Europe, the Lidar Mapping Forum, and SPAR 3D Expo and Conference.
Great to have you, Lisa. So let's talk about the Commercial UAV Expo Europe. What's the story behind the event?
2 years ago, we launched Commercial UAV Expo Americas, and obviously 2015 was sort of the year of the drone. A lot of events popped up, but we had a special place in sort of industrial use for 3D data capture technologies. So when drones really started to infiltrate that market, it was important for our users to understand, okay, this is a new tool in the toolkit. How are we going to integrate this along with 3D laser scanning or aerial LiDAR or mobile mapping, et cetera? So we launched it in the U.S., very successful formula. And then as we started traveling to Europe to see some of our other customers and visit other events, we really felt like there was nothing quite like our unique formula in the form of an event in the European market.
How will the event compare to the Commercial UAV Expo here in the United States?
The formula is similar in the sense that not all drones or the way people use drones are created equal. You know, you've got sort of industrial jobs that are very precision oriented. They need a certain level of accuracy and survey grade data. And there are certain industries that tend to need that kind of data capture. So whether it's in the US or Europe, the verticals that we've identified that will be sort of the large enterprise users of drones will be surveying and mapping, civil infrastructure, mining, construction, the energy sector, process and power, utilities and telecom, law enforcement, and then precision agriculture. So yes, those are the same vertical market segments that we target in the U.S., but of course the attendee base will be European at the European event in Brussels.
Compared to other shows in Europe, what differentiates this show from other choices that professionals may have?
Yeah, that's such a good question, Randy, because I think it's hard for companies to navigate a very complex landscape of a lot of UAV shows. So what I saw was that almost every country has their own drone show. A lot of those tend to be regional and sort of in-country shows. And then there are some larger like geospatial events that cover all different facets of the market of which drones are a part. But I really didn't see a drone-specific show that was pan-European, so drawing from all over the continent and the UK as well, and that was focused on those industrial uses of drones. So, you know, not photography, not videography. It's more highly technical projects that tend to be sort of high risk also. So things like inspecting cell phone towers, safer to send a drone up than a person up, or pipeline inspection, or transmission line inspection. We sort of have a hold in that market in terms of those users. They're looking for very specific information when they're trying to figure out what systems they should select and how drones are going to reduce their project time or save them money.
What did you see in the European market that led you to believe that the time was right for a show like this?
Much like in the Americas, drones are on the rise. So it's very much something on the minds of people who are used to being in the data capture industry. So that is sort of the same. And the European market is, looking at some of the same issues that we have here in the States, which is how do we create a system for unmanned aircraft? And, how do you move from one country to another within Europe where the regulations are different from country to country? And yet everybody recognizes this as a game-changing technology that they want to embrace. But there are a lot of questions that need to be answered around harmonization of standards and, integrating with manned aircraft. So I think the time is right. And I think there's a lot to be gained with that pan-European perspective because you're bringing people from all different countries with different experiences together to sort of leverage their knowledge and move forward together to integrate this technology. And in terms of it being sort of a European event, but we're based in the U.S., we also have offices in the U.K. as well. We're a global company with offices all over the world, actually. And we have done conferences in Europe. We have a geo-business conference in the U.K., which is a highly successful surveying and mapping conference. And there's some crossover there. And most of the companies that we're working with have offices in Europe and the United States, so we're working with their counterparts.
You mentioned the challenge of doing business across borders. Is the conference going to have sessions that delve into this in detail?
Yeah, I think anybody working in the European market recognizes that you've got to think about what's happening in other countries. If you're a service provider, you can work on a project in Germany and then move to France for another project, and the regulations are going to be different. So I think certainly choosing Brussels as a venue was important because the European Union is dealing with these issues as well. The transportation departments and different divisions of the European community are wrestling with this in a pan-European way. So we will have government representatives who are going to speak to this. We will also have representatives from the national ARPAs associations participating in a panel discussion, and they'll be representing all the different views of the different regions. So they'll be talking about, how far away are they from harmonization? What's the regulatory environment now? What are the goals and benchmarks that are set forth from a pan-European perspective? And how can they all, it's sort of a platform for them to come together and talk about how do we move this forward.
Why was Brussels chosen as the site for the expo?
Central location is a big part of it. If you think about the Benelux, that's an active area for drone research, and it draws very well from Switzerland, which is a drone hub. You sort of look at the progressive countries in terms of regulation, so France, Germany, the UK. All of those countries tend to think of Brussels as sort of a neutral place and a central place to get to. So it's accessible, it's international, and we've had some great connections with the partners on the ground in Brussels, the National ARPAS Association, which is BEUAS, and also UCA, which is a nonprofit membership organization, and they bring together the drone industry and end users. So it just felt like a natural fit and a hub for what we're trying to accomplish.
And when is the expo going to be held?
It's June 20th through the 22nd at the Square in the center of Brussels.
And just to confirm, the travel information is available online.
Yes, it is on our website. We do have a travel page. And what they would want to know in terms of coming to the event is that on our pre-conference day, which is the 20th, there will be a series of vendor sessions where the vendors get up and do a lightning round presentation of their solution. And then there'll be 2 full days of conference programming on the 21st and the 22nd.
Who should attend this conference, and what will they get out of it?
Basically, anybody who's active in a pan-European way in the drone community would get something out of this. We tend to focus our content a little bit more on, again, those sort of complicated industrial uses of drones. So this won't be at a prosumer or hobbyist level. It's really focused on how large enterprises will be using drones for large project work. So that would mean engineering firms, service providers, large asset owners such as oil and gas, telecom, energy companies, whether that's wind power for turbine inspection or oil and gas companies for pipeline. Law enforcement is a focus for us. We'll have sessions on that. Also precision agriculture. So anybody working in precision ag who's looking to onboard drones and figure out how that data can help them is going to get something out of the conference. And then construction and infrastructure, of course, is another important category. So anybody in those industries who's using 3D capture technology and wants to find out what the best drone solutions are and how other people are using them, their colleagues and competitors, will find the conference content interesting.
Can you tell us about the advisory board for this expo and how they contribute to the program?
We look to the industry to find who the leaders are, whether they're from an asset owner company or a service provider company or a vendor. And we try to get a nice mix of all three. And for this conference in particular, we wanted to have a mix of countries represented as well. So, we've got everybody from the French rail system to some of the Belgian companies who are working on unmanned traffic management system. You and I talked a little bit earlier about Pix4D as a vendor. They're on the board, Aerialtronics. And for oil and gas, we're working with Sky Futures, who tends to do a lot of work in that sector. We've got somebody on the board from Nokia, who's helping us with telecom content. And we've got a legal advisor and Peter Slater from Costain Group in the UK, sort of representing civil infrastructure from an engineering group perspective. So it's really a nice mix and a balance. And what those people do is they look through all our presentations and vote. They help us rate which ones are the most important, and they make sure that we're delivering the content that the people in these high precision industries need. They're also going to be jurors for our Drone Hero contest. They serve a variety of functions. They help us moderate, but essentially the reason that we choose them is they help us prioritize what the key issues are for the European market. They're specialists in drones, and they lend credibility and expertise to the event.
Let's go back to the Drone Hero contest for a second. What is that?
The Drone Hero Europe contest is something that UCA started last year. UCA is that nonprofit member organization in Belgium who brings together the drone industry and the end users. And they started this last year. They asked nominees to submit a 3-minute video of innovative uses of drones, drones for good. There's a public drone hero, just sort of a popular drone hero award. And we have 5 different categories. And so the contestants have to submit a video and kind of pitch why they should win the award. And then we have a jury made up of drone experts from all over Europe and from associations and vendors, and they will look at the entries and vote on the winners. And all of the finalists will be able to present at our event. So they'll all have a chance to pitch to the audience, and then the winner is going to be announced on the last day.
Have you organized this type of contest before, or is it unique to the Europe Expo?
We haven't done it in Americas yet. Nope. This is a Belgian homegrown contest that UCA had organized, and they very much wanted to continue it this year, but they wanted to do it in concert with a drone event. So they selected us as partners. So we're doing it together, and Peter van Blijenberg, who's the president of UVS International, is going to be the chairperson for the contest. So he's a very well-known figure in the European, global aviation space and drone space, and he's going to be the master of ceremonies for this. The submissions are coming in now, and there's some really interesting submissions, and I can't really talk about them, but they will be on display and presented at the event in Brussels.
Can you talk about the organizations or the sponsors that have joined in on the event so far?
Yeah, it's really been amazing. The response from the national ARPAS associations has been fantastic. Basically, we've talked to all the major European countries who have drone associations and told them what we're trying to build and what we're trying to do, and many of them have come out to support us. So we've got the ARPAS Association from Spain, from the UK, from Belgium, France, Luxembourg, Switzerland, Germany, Norway, the Netherlands, Denmark. They've all put their support behind this event. So they're helping us to promote that with their members, and they're also, some of them, going to be representing their countries on the program, talking about what's going on in all those different countries and trying to come together as one unified European group to, again, move the industry forward.
Are there any networking opportunities planned for the attendees?
We've got a couple of different networking events that take place, and we find that people start looking at each other's badges, and we start giving out lists of who's in attendance, and they start networking with each other. You know, whether it's at a coffee break or a lunch break or a networking cocktail on the show floor, people are just so hungry for exchanging information with their colleagues that it just kind of happens naturally. You put a bunch of drone people in the same place for 3 days, and there's an awful lot of networking that goes on.
Is there going to be an exhibit hall there as well?
There is going to be an exhibit hall with a flying cage and some live demonstrations. We're still a few months out, and we just opened the door to exhibitors about 5 weeks ago, but we've got some key leaders who have stepped out to support the event, including Aerialtronics from the Netherlands. We've got Leica, Pix4D, Harris, Orbit, Regal, Sky Futures, Trimble, Topcon, Unifly. Some of the major leaders are coming out to back the show, and we probably will have about 50 exhibits on the show floor, and then we'll also have the Drone Hero contestants on the show floor, and a lot of the national associations that I talked about will be representing their countries on the show floor as well.
More than anything else, what has you most personally excited about the expo?
I think that the response from people is what gets me excited about it. There's nothing quite like it over in the European market right now. I think that when you put like people together, and again, we really do focus on delivering a certain level of audience participant. So you put a bunch of highly technical people who are interested in high precision equipment together, and you're talking about, for a lot of them, this is still nascent technology. So they want to find out what's working for my colleagues, what's not working. They're just hungry to learn about the solutions. It's a very exciting time to be in this space. There's a level of excitement around, what is possible that just makes it a fun place to be. And I think I'm most excited about Europe to sort of bring this winning formula that we've got of these key industry segments, a very focused use of drones, and people just seem to really get it.
How will you know that the show has been a success?
Well, I think it will be great to get the critical number of exhibitors that we're looking for. We'd like to see 600 or 800 attendees there. And we've sort of got a formula for this by now. We do so many technology events, and we've done them globally, that I think we have a good handle on delivering conference content that's going to hit home. We know what kind of information these people need, and I think we serve it up in a really streamlined, professional, curated way. And what's really satisfying is at the end of an event like this to see people so satisfied that they really got their money's worth, that they made great connections, and they learned something that's going to stick with them when they go home.
For someone who is still thinking about attending the event, what would you say to them to help them make up their mind?
Well, I think if you're a professional who is active in the drone market, you're not going to get this level of content and programming at any other event in Europe. As I said, there are lots of regional events. There are some international events that have drones as a piece of it, but there's no one event that's completely focused on the pan-European audience and will draw from all over Europe and that is focused on just those segments that are going to use drones that will be the largest users of drones going forward. So it's unique in that way, and I think once people take a look at the presenters on the program and the quality of exhibitors who are backing this and the amount of international support that we're getting from the national ARPAS associations, that it's going to be really clear what the difference is between this event and anything else that exists over there.
That's it for this special edition of the Drone Radio Show. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Lisa Murray of Diversified Communications and learning about the Commercial UAV Expo Europe. Remember, the expo will be held in Brussels on June 20th through June 22nd. For more information on the event, check out the webpage at expouav.com/Europe. I hope you enjoy the program if you attend. Thanks for listening, and as always, I hope you'll download more episodes of the Drone Radio Show podcast to hear how others are using drones for business, fun, and research. For the Drone Radio Show, I'm Randy Goers.
This has been the Drone Radio Show podcast. More information on today's show can be found on our website at www.droneradioshow.com. If you're using drone technology for business, fun, or research and would like to share your experience on the show, please visit our website and fill out a guest appearance application. And don't forget to follow us on your favorite social media channels.